Hello, this is Chris, ZL1CVD. Today I want to talk to you about this PRC-174. These are an HF transceiver from the late 80s, early 90s, and a very solid construction and quite a big unit. I've got the covers off this one because we want to talk about some of the internal bits and pieces in a moment. Just a quick rundown. It has standard U225U sockets, so it takes all the military, US military audio accessories. We've got an on-off, the on-off mode switch. So when we switch it up to here, it's transceive, upper sideband, receive, upper sideband, off, receive, lower sideband, or receive, transceive, transmit, receive, lower sideband. Mode is here. AM, SSB, data, narrow CW and wide CW. A volume control here. This is the indicator switch at backlight for the display here. When it's in the IND position, it will show us these LED lights will illuminate according to signal strength. Or when we're in battery mode, it shows us what the battery is. I'm not too sure what normal save is supposed to do. I've never really used those. Over here we have the frequency selectors. It's just a matter of pushing a button to change the whatever frequency you want to change. No memories at all in this set. Dipole connector here, and this connector here is a circular military connector for use when it's in a VRC like tank sort of configuration with an external amplifier and an external tuner. This goes to the control unit. On the side of the set we have, this is where the whip antenna would go. There's normally an adapter, or there is an optional adapter that will plug in here. And what's quite unusual is it has a magnet on it which tells the transceiver via a reed relay inside it that's on the inside here. Change this wire here. It earths that wire when the adapter is plugged in here via the magnet. Earths this wire to tell the tuner that it is a whip that's connected. Okay. Batteries are the other thing that's really hard to get hold of for these. So as standard, I just solder on a standard XT60 RC socket on the back, and I make my own battery packs up. This is one over here that I've made up for my other set. This radio, when I picked it up, was badly off frequency, so one of the things I wanted to show today is what I did to get it back on frequency. So you remove the top cover and bottom cover. Frequency is determined by the reference module here. So what we did is we set the transceiver to test that it was off frequency. I had this transceiver set at 10 megahertz. Because it supports AM, it was 10 megahertz AM, which is great. It's better than sideband because then I don't have to worry about deducting the sideband frequency off it, because if our dial frequency is 10 megahertz and we're using upper sideband, it'll be 10.1 or whatever the width of the filter is, usually. Yeah, so anyway, I set it to AM and adjusted the frequency on the reference module. Now to get to that module, there's two screws here and the modules just plug in. So we took the module out, and here we have the temperature compensated crystal oscillator. This is the 3.5 megahertz oscillator. What we could have done is we could have attached a frequency counter onto one of the back pins here and tapped where the 3.5 megahertz was out and adjusted it that way. But I've got an IFR 1900 communications analyzer. I simply set that to AM 10 megahertz and it displayed the frequency error straight away, and I could see that it was 8 kilohertz out. Now with rigs of this sort of age, expects them to be off frequency because they use a quartz crystal in here, and as time passes, quartz crystals age, so they slowly go off frequency. And there is a one of the specifications of quartz crystal is that aging rate. Anyway, this was off frequency, so to get it back onto frequency, I needed to adjust it. Now, in a military workshop, they would have had extender cards so that you could plug this in and then get to it, get to the trimmer on the side. I didn't have that, so all I did is I powered the transceiver up for half an hour, and then to make sure that everything was warm, because you should always change the frequency when it's at the operating temperature that it's going to be operating in. So I did that, and then I pulled the module like I have now, unscrewed the dust cap screw here that's here, and then underneath you'll see a brass slug. It's important to use a non-ferrous when you're changing, when you're adjusting things like this. It's important to use a non-ferrous screwdriver. So I have these ceramic screwdrivers which you can pick up off AliExpress, and use that. And I found that turning it one way, it made the error worse. Turning it the other way, it got me closer to what I needed. So it ended up being 3/4, for me it was 3/4 of a turn to the left, and I got it back into frequency. So it was 3 or 4 times, maybe 5 times, pulling it in and out and adjusting it until it was right. But really, that was an easy fix to get the transceiver on the air and to get it right on spot on frequency, which is what we wanted. Now, there are 2 versions of these transceivers, so that's the frequency thing, and this transceiver is all working. There are 2 versions of these transceivers, made for 2 different militaries or markets, if you like. Both of them are made by Tatarin, I think it is, an Israeli defence contractor. There's the 174S, which is this one over here, and the plain 174, which was for the US market, and this one's for the Israeli Defence Force. Now, so this one actually came out of Brazil, by the way, South America. Anyway, the Israeli version, the 174S, has got a tone squelch system on it, and this audio module here internally is quite different between the 2, and that's the only difference. There's an easy way to bypass it on the S version, and that is to simply on the back of here, on the back of the audio module, down here, you'll see this, it says AUD here, and this is the connector for it. So we're looking at the front row pins, which are closest to the front panel, and if you go count 1, 2, the 3rd pin along, simply ground that, solder a wire off that to anywhere on that's ground. In this case, I've got a wire going from there to the shielding on a bit of coax that's running here, or hardline coax, miniature hardline coax. So I've just attached a little link there, and that straight away bypasses the tone squelch on it and gets you operating normally. So that was all good. There's another couple of other mods you can do to it. So that's the first mod that you'll do on a 174S. You won't need to do that on the plain 174. The other mod that you can do is to convert it for operation onto 160 meter emitter band. So getting it to transmit below 1.5 megs, below 2 megahertz, sorry. To do that, you need to remove D5 here. Okay, there's normally a diode here, so it's a matter of clipping that diode off and getting rid of it. And that tells the automatic tuner to stop sending an error message and allow the tuning down to that frequency. Yeah, and it works, and it will start transmitting straight away. However, there's another modification you need to do. If you're going to do that, you need to modify the bandpass filter to allow transmission, so it doesn't start attenuating what you're putting out. So the bandpass filter is this module here, which I've taken out of here, and we have that over here. So that goes in like this. Now, to get to it, you need to undo just move this all forward, sorry. We need to undo, where are we? Need to undo this screw and this screw, and then we need to unplug 1, 2, 3 coax cables. They just pull out using a pair of long nose pliers. You'd just better pop those off. They connect onto these connectors on the bottom here. Right. Once you've done that, press on those screws and the module will pop out. Okay. Once you've got the module out, we then need to do a modification here, which is a transistor which switches the filter in and out at the right frequency. And then we need to modify the actual filter. So what we're going to do is we're going to undo these 2 screws that are here and press down on those screws as you undo them to pop the little filter board out, because the boards are a really tight fit, and this is the board here. Okay. Now the modification entails removing the capacitor that was on the end here and changing it for a 300 picofarad, removing a capacitor that was here, and soldering a jumper wire over here, and that will get the filter operating correctly so that you can operate down to 160 meters. I'll leave details of these modifications or links to the modifications on the bottom of the video. Up top there where the notes are, or the description of the video, I'll leave a link up there for you. Okay, so it's these little boards are really tight fit in here, so I'll put that in a bit later. But that's the only mods I do with them. They're a very robust radio. This particular one here came out of it was water damage when I got it, so I had to completely disassemble this. I took everything out. The motherboard was off, all the modules out of it, cleaned it all off, front panel off. There was nothing left in it, just the metal case. Put the metal case through the dishwasher when the wife wasn't looking, and that cleaned it up nicely. And then everything was given a coat of WD-40 to stop any corrosion from continuing, and wipe that off so that there was no residue really left in it. Well, there is a residue, but it's so fine that you don't notice it anymore, and it stopped any further corrosion occurring. When I reassemble this one here, or both of them, I'm going to put some silica gel in it. Make sure I've got some silicon spray. It's a silicon lubricant, and I'll use that to lubricate the gasket so that I get a good water seal, and I'll seal it up, and I'll put I've got a couple of packets of silica gel, which I'll pop a packet of silica gel in there. And that'll make sure that it stays watertight, and that'll be good for another, I mean, this is what are we now, 24, and so this is a 40-odd-year-old transceiver, and it'll be good for another 40 years. They don't use a lot of electrolytic caps in these, so that's not normally an issue, and they're just so well built, they'll just keep going. Alright, that's all for me now. I hope you found this video interesting. If you did, please subscribe. Thank you.